Hey, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a good week. I'm here at Westlake STEM Junior High. I think I'm in Miss Seaman's class and I'm stealing her whiteboard markers. They are all down the hall with Aaron from Solution Tree. I'm doing some professional learning here today, and I had a chance to sit down on that, and it was so powerful. I was only here for like an hour, and I was blown away by some of the things that I got to hear and learn, and overarching about getting kids to believe in themselves, and some of the pedagogical practices that we already know and understand, but putting them into place into bite-sized chunks to really not only help kids to believe in themselves better, but as my learning partner indicated to me, getting ourselves to believe that we have the ability to help them with their own collective efficacy, I thought was pretty powerful. So thanks, shout out to Westlake for letting me come and be a part of their professional learning today. I hope you're getting some good professional learning as well. I had a question about class sizes, and I did a town hall a few weeks ago, and one of our wonderful teachers appropriately corrected me and was a little frustrated with my response in the video. Perhaps I was a little too flippant and I didn't mean for that. I apologize, and I apologize profusely to her in my response. Class sizes are very important, and I hate to diminish that. Given our current financial revenue structure and the way that we receive our funding from the state of Utah, class sizes are an immense challenge. I was here back in 2008 when we had to raise class sizes in order to balance our budget. So let me give you a couple key figures here that help us know and understand how that works. In order to, our current class size ratios are 28.25 for secondary schools and 27.25 for elementary. Well, that's clearly too big, right? So when we look at these numbers, it's important to realize that it's up to a local school then we take that number. If a school has 1,000 kids, I'm going to take that number, 1,000 kids, and divide it by this figure or that figure and come up with an FTE on the other side, right? And then I take that number of teachers and divide it and figure out how I'm going to, well, I need this many to do my core classes. I need this many for electives. So we do hit sweet spots in these areas for our secondary schools, but for our elementary, that can get a little challenging. That's where in smaller schools, like 300 divided by 27.25 ends up being a real challenge because we end up with splits and some other things. Our east side schools and our west side schools all use the same ratio. It's important to understand that. That's a district-wide ratio. Most other school districts have a comparable FTE as part of that process. But the thing and the challenge is to reduce this number by just one and drop that down to 26.25 is about $3 million. Now, let's compare that $3 million. Sorry if that's hard to read. Miss Seaman's marker, she needs some new markers here, so I'll send her some in through district mail. But to get to that $3 million, it's important to understand that our total collective increase in the WPU, or our primary funding mechanism, is probably going to be about $16 million. So when the district's going through negotiations with the association, 16 million, that's a roughly 4% WPU increase. That is total amount of new revenue in our almost $850 million budget. That is as little revenue as we get in addition year to year. Out of that, we have to pay for any cost of living adjustments or COLAs. Out of that, we also have to pay for any step and lane increases. So you can imagine any adjustments to our insurance costs or premiums all come out of that one figure. If there's new resources that we need to pay for, additional supports for multi-language learners, for instance, or other things that are not funded through the legislature. I don't know, HB 84 last year, it's going to cost about $100 million, $100 million to implement just in our district alone. That's not the ongoing costs. The ongoing costs for security requirements from the state right now range from $8 to $10 million, all having to come out of this little chunk of new money that we get on an annual basis. That doesn't take into consideration inflation or anything. So yeah, would we love to reduce class sizes right here? But we don't have the revenue to be able to do that. And when the Board of Education this spring is already faced with a potential tax increase potentially to have to address the mandates from the legislature to provide armed security in all of our schools at a roughly $8 to $10 million annual cost. You can imagine that class sizes on top of a cost of living adjustment and a step in lane can be really challenging. That doesn't mean we don't want to reduce class sizes. I'd love to see our class sizes come down a lot, but I don't have the $3 million in this money to be able to bring that figure down too much, either at the secondary or the elementary level. So as we get closer to some final numbers in this current budget session, legislative session, and we have a better idea what our budget looks like, I'll be sure to come back with our little whiteboard with a better whiteboard marker and explain how we plan on working to balance our budget and what any potential tax increase we'll see what the board is faced with and has to come up with. So not a great budget picture and outlook for this current year. It is a tight year, and frankly at the district level we're looking to cut some personnel and push some of those resources down to the school level to make sure that we're doing our part as we continue to see a decline in our population, to right sizing the district as much as we're right sizing our school sizes and the amount of schools that we have. So I hope that's helpful. Again, that's not intended to denigrate the need for reducing class sizes. And I've been in many classes that are quite large. And in fact, in my Granger class this semester, I have 28 kids. So I understand that, and I'm not denigrating the concern in any way, shape, or form, and I apologize if I did that before. I hope this information is helpful as we kind of look at the broader context of our budgets and how things are funded. And if you have other questions, feel free to shoot them to me. I appreciate the help and support, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.